Hey, Steve Hakes here with Mortgage Vision. Just wanted to kind of take this moment and talk about loan officer compensation. As you probably know by now, and if you're not for sure, you can see there's a link below this video, and it will link you to the Fed's response to the Q&A question of are they going to extend the deadline on the April 1st LO compensation plan, and the absolute response from the Fed on that is no. They're not going to. So I'd like to take this time to not just talk about the rules, regulations, or complain about the fact that we have to make a change, but what I want to do is really get you guys to start thinking about what are we really wanting out of our loan officers and our company, what are our goals, things like that, and how can we take advantage of this loan officer compensation rule and really make it something good for your loan officers. You know, I've been in the business for about 11 years. But prior to that, I was general manager with Frigidaire Corporation and senior vice president with Pioneer Electronics. And in both of those organizations, we've developed comp plans that met with the company goals. So my challenge to you right now, and I think the best way to take the fear out of this for loan officers, is to really take them off the playing field of the mortgage business and take them to a higher level to where really you're thinking about them as what they are. They're salespeople, and they are motivated by ringing the bell and think about how other companies, and you may have friends, neighbors that are in sales management that are involved in developing compensation plans. Talk to them about how they motivate their employees. And I think that's the key here with the loan officers, is to provide a compensation plan that's going to take care of their day-to-day needs to live on, as well as give them something that's going to motivate them to go out and sell more loans this year. So, you know, one of the things I would like to talk about is, you know, it's really for employees. It's not always what you're paid or how you're paid, but what you're paid at the end of the day. So, you know, I think that this is an opportunity for you to create a plan and present them something that they're really going to look at and say, wow, this was a great thing for us to switch from the commission-based, the transaction-based commissions that really are pretty stressful for them. So what I'd like to talk to you about is just another scenario that I've been involved in, and then it's creating compensation plans. And at one time at a consumer electronics company, I was involved with developing a new compensation plan for the sales staff out there. Now we had two goals. Number one, it was a factory, so they had product coming off the line. They had categories that they wanted and subcategories that they needed to tie sales to production. So we had so many products coming off the line. For example, this consumer electronics company made car audio and home audio. And then they would break it down into subcategories of electronics, speakers, and accessories. So what they did was we put together a compensation plan which gave them a base salary, which gave them enough to live on, but they made them still hungry. and then what we did was we gave them quarterly bonuses based on how they performed against their quotas for those categories. And what that did for the salesman is the manager would sit down with the salesman and say, look, here's the company goals, here's what we want to produce, here's where we see opportunity. And so therefore we're going to tie your compensation plan to that, and therefore everybody wins. And you can show them how they can actually make more money this year than they would have last year on the old compensation plan. I think when you really get down to it, you realize that salesmen are really looked at, okay, what did I make last year? And think of salesmen as loan officers. What did I make last year? How was I compensated as far as, you know, my total dollars for what I did? What did I bring to the table, and what was I paid? I think if you really dig down into it, they want to make more money next year. So, you know, guess what? You want to do the same thing. Revelation. You know, you really want to increase your net revenues. So it's a win-win for everyone if we all perform like we want to perform in 2011. So my challenge to you is to think outside of the industry. Take your conversations when you sit down with your employees, take your conversation to a 50,000 foot level. Talk about different industries or people that you know and how they're compensated to sell products. And ultimately, that's what our loan officers do. They're out there selling the company, they're selling the products, they're selling the turn time, the service levels, all of those things. I really think that we can all win with this. if we just think outside the box. I think one of the problems with our industry is we've got so many people in our industry that have never worked outside of the mortgage industry. So they're all really afraid. And I think what I'm seeing out there right now and hearing with the people I'm talking to is a general fear that this compensation rule may destroy their companies. They may lose employees over it. And I think that's because they really are looking at it from, this is the way it used to be, I don't want the change. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just embrace the change, take it to a 50,000 foot level, stop thinking about, oh, my world's going to change, but think of how you can change it to the better. I think there's so much negative connotation that this thing's going to make me make less money. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to develop a compensation plan to make your people more money in the future. So, and that is really what people want to hear. They want to hear it, they want it to be tangible. My next step is, once you put your compensation plan together and you present it to your staff, listen to what they have to say, take to heart what they have to say, and then track it. Every quarter, sit down with your loan officers and say, okay, here's what you performed at, here's how much you brought in, here's how much you make, be aware of what they're making, and compare that against what they would have made the prior year. And I think you'll be fine. So again, this is Steve Hakes with Mortgage Vision. If you like what you're hearing here and the discussions and the way we're going with this website, please forward it to your friends and colleagues. Have them subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe on the subscribe button on the upper left-hand side of the web page here. And welcome to Mortgage Vision. Looking forward to a great 2011.